Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to Marvel Champions Civil War. If you haven't checked out part 1 for whatever reason, I just did an overview of what's in this set, and what Civil War is. I was going to do the heroes in that set as well, but I decided the video was going a little bit long for just rules, so I decided to do them in a separate one. But if you didn't watch the first one, the basic breakdown is you get to play against the heroes in this one. So you're playing against the registration team of Iron Man or Captain Marvel, so two different decks, or against anti-registration, which is Resistance, as I believe they call it here, which is Captain America or Spider-Woman. And then eventually they will have, I can find it, another set with She-Hulk and Vision getting added into there as well, so giving you more options of stuff to do. So it's pretty cool. And we do get two new heroes in here. We get Hulkling and Tigra, which we're going to go over here. This also adds an additional PvP mode, so you can play as a team, your heroes that you want to play as, with a leader or villain character you're playing as. So I could be Spider-Man and Hulkling teaming up with Captain America to fight off against Spider-Man, Hulkling, they're teaming up with Iron Man to fight off against this is who you're fighting against, I suppose. Tigra and Captain Marvel with Captain America. So it's kind of a neat idea, because then you're playing your heroes to try and defeat their enemy leader, and then they're trying to fight against you. So it's a neat, interesting way to include that in there. Other thing, I go over the mode a little bit more in the previous video, so go back and check that out if you'd like to see that. I'd like to hop into the decks. So to start off, we have one of my favorite newer characters, and saying newer at this point is probably a long thing, because he probably came out in like mid-2000s. Is Hulkling, one of the new Avengers, or Young Avengers, sorry. When Young Avengers came out in the comic books, I was super excited. I'm like, oh, these are kind of like really cool characters. And I love, because they're like, supposed to be like younger versions of playing off the original Avengers. Like, he's supposed to be the Hulk. There's supposed to be one that was, Wiccan, was originally called Thorling, who was supposed to be like Thor. Patriot, who was supposed to be Captain America. Next, when Kate Bishop joined in, she became Hawkingbird originally, then became Hawkeye officially. So that's something like Iron Lad, of course, who was Ultron, which is really not Ultron, Kane. Let me get my facts straight. And then rebooted Vision joined as well. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff. And then I love the fact that they also evolved a lot of the characters beyond what they originally were. And then Stature joined as well. So very cool. So here we have Hulkling here, who has very low stats. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 defense. He's an Avenger, but he's also a Kree and Skrull. So if we get more stuff with that, we eventually hit the space. We're going to get some cool keywords in there. Chosen shape, force response. After a shapeshift upgrade enters play under your control, discard each other shapeshift upgrade you control and ready Hulkling. Hand size of 5, hit points of 13. So his whole thing is he's a shapeshifter with the crease or skull side of him. So you're going to be able to switch to different forms and gain bonuses based on those. If we flip to the other side, we have Teddy Altman for recovery. You cannot have more than one shapeshift upgrade in play. Shape Changer, action. Search your deck and discard pile for a shapeshift upgrade and add it to your hand. Basically you can play these, you switch to his regular form, you can find them, have them prepped, and then you can keep switching between them. For his cards, he can have his signature, so of course he has to have Wiccan William Tapling, who is his husband. They eventually got married in space. When Hulkling became king of the Kree Skrulls. The Avenger and Mystic, of course, he's also Scarlet Witch's son. For those of you who don't know and don't follow all the comic books or MCU stuff. So response, after you play Wiccan from your hand, search your deck and discard pile for an identity-specific event and add it to your hand. Hang on, Teddy, I got your back. So obviously one thing I would love would be for at least most of the Young Avengers to get their own own cards at some point. So it'd be cool if Wiccan got one. At least Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and maybe Stature. I don't know if like Iron Lad, he wasn't really long enough. I don't know if Vision would either. And Patriot would be cool as well. But I think if you're gonna do another, I feel like you're gonna do another Captain America themed character. There's more other characters who would be interesting to do than him. No offense to why can't I remember his name? It'll come to me, or I'll see his card later and I'll remember. Alright, let's look at his deck. We have Hulkling Residence, Location, Alter Ego, Action, Exhaust. Hulkling Residence, deal 2 damage, heal 2 damage from Teddy, and shuffle 1 Hulkling card from your discard pile into your deck. Teddy is raised by Miss Altman from infancy or to hide his true heritage. Alright, then we're our Shapeshift cards. We have Winged Shape. So originally he was just trying to do the Hulk. That's how he called Hulkling. He just never changed his identity later. But he only beefed up like Hulk. Then later when they kind of got exposed that they weren't like the young versions or like specifically children of them, they were kind of. Because he's again the child of a Captain Marvel, the Kree version, the male version, and a Skrull Queen. Or princess. I don't remember which one. I think she might have been the princess at the time. Yeah, then he starts using his powers in different ways, but creating wings. Just +1 thwart, attacking, defense, and gains aerial trait. Response, after you play an event, exhaust wing shape, remove 2 threats from a steam. So this is really cool. So he just boosts up his stats. So it's 2 of everything. Gains the aerial trait. And whenever you play an event, you can exhaust this to remove 2 up extra threats. So that's kind of cool. Plus, it also has dual icons on there, so that's pretty nice. So basically, one shapeshift can pay for another shapeshift card. We have his Hulk shape. Gets +2 attack and 1 defense, so he still gets +3 overall. Just rearranges it differently. After you play an event, exhaust this to deal 2 damage to an enemy. The armored shape. His +1 attack and 2 defense, gains retaliate 1. After you play this event, exhaust armor shape, heal 2 damage. So 1 will let him steam, 1 will let him do damage, 1 will let him heal. So very, very cool. Then he also has imitation shape, gets +2 thwart. Force interrupt when an enemy would attack you, it steams instead, so you can kind of hide. And after you play an event, exhaust this to draw 1 card. So he has the 4 of them, which you can use his abilities to get them back from the discard pile, draw them, play them, keep them around. He has Alien Physiology, which is a superpower. Exhaust Alien Physiology to generate a wild resource 2 if resources instead paying for a Hulkling card. When I first discovered my powers, I thought I was mutant, but it turns out I'm an alien. So that's even nicer. So, you can then use this to pay for 2 to basically pay for all his Shapeshift cards over and over once it's out. We have 3 copies of Shapeshifter Strike, Attack and Superpower. Action, attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy ready to Shapeshift upgrade. So very cool. So you play his... you play an event, you can exhaust this to do the thing, and then here it's going to let you ready that card right away anyhow. So that's very nice. I assume they trigger like that. Even if it doesn't, even if I already had it exhausted, if I play this to use it as a way to unexhaust them, I can play another event, that's still not a bad idea. We have 2 copies of Armored Defense. Defense Superpower. Hero Interrupt. When enemy attacks, deal damage to it equal to your defense. After this card attacks, give the Hulkling a tough status card. Or after this attack. So it's kind of nice. He only normally has 1 defense, but if you throw on his defense form, armor, he has +2, so he can deal 3 damage to somebody. And if you get other cards to boost up his defense, he can do even more. Plus, he gets an extra tough stat, so he can take some more damage. Kind of makes him a very versatile character. Do you want him to kind of focus on attacking? Do you want him to focus on defense? Does what he needs to be doing. 2 copies of Impersonation, Superpower Thwart. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat, you may change your alter ego form. So you can hide back into your human form, which lets you reboost up your shapeshift and decide what you want to do next. I'm the Young Avengers resident shapechanger. And then we have a copy of Shapeshifter. So this is his last specific card. Superpower action, search your deck for a discard pile for a shapeshift upgrade, add to your hand. Didn't see that coming, did you? 0 cost. Just pull this out to get your cards back. So very cool. So it's just, that's his whole idea is, this is after force response, after shapeshift upgrade enters player control, discard each other when and ready him. The cool thing is you get to ready him and have him ready. So you can have one, if you play, he can go from doing his armored form, or his attack form, to do Hulk form to do some damage. Then you can play another one, ready him, and have him ready for defense after that, or have him attack, then sword, then maybe jump into defense, or jump into the healing one. You get a bunch of different options there. Alright, for his protection deck, we have Patriot Isaiah Bradley. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. 1 thwart, 2 attack. Avenger, response after you engaging a minion, give Patriot a tough status card. I'm ready for anything. So he gets this little thing there. We have the Brother Voodoo Jericho Drum. I'm not entirely sure why he's connected to Hulkling at all. I don't remember if they work together or what. But I haven't seen much of the Hulkling stuff. I haven't read much since he left the Young Avengers, really, and went to space. So maybe there was some time in between there I just missed. But Brother Voodoo in itself is a really cool character. So Avengers on Mystic Response. After Brother Voodoo enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck. For an event card, add to your hand, shuffle your deck. My name is Jericho Drum. They call me Brother Voodoo. Yeah, it's just find the event cards you need. Nothing wrong with that. The Hidden Base location uses 3 stronghold counters. Alter Ego Response. After you change form, exhaust Hidden Base, remove 1 stronghold counter from it. Give your identity a tough status card. Nice. There's some extra defense on yourself. We have the Night Nurse. Uses 3 medical counters. Uses a persona. Exhaust Night Nurse and remove 1 medical counter from it. Heal 1 damage from a hero and discard 1 status card from it. Again, just to kind of keep you healed. We have the Excelsior, which is Hulkling's space sword, which can cut through whatever it needs to cut through, or not cut through whatever it shouldn't cut through. Scree, Crawl, and Weapon. Restricted match to response. After your hero defeats an enemy, defends against an enemy attack, you may spend 1 energy resource to deal 2 damage to the enemy. So kind of again gives you a reason to be on the defensive side, so you can turn around and swing afterwards. Alright, so now we have some 3 copies. We have Defensive Conditioning. This is a new type of card we're getting. I always love when they do these little mini sets. So the next couple of heroes we're getting over the course of this expansion, the Civil War stuff, are going to have conditioning cards for each different aspect. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. You get 3 hit points, and your hero gains +1 defense. Again, this should work well with his retaliation ability, giving him up to potentially 4 defense. 3 copies of I Can Do This All Day. Hero Interrupt Defense. When an enemy attacks, declare your hero as a defender without exhausting them. We have 3 copies of Taunt. The villain attacks you. Other characters cannot defend against this attack. Draw 3 cards. Is that all you got? So they're really kind of focusing on doing the defensive side as opposed to attacking. But again, you can always switch to other stuff. 3 copies of Tackle. Send an enemy. If you pay for this card using a physical resource, deal 3 damage to that enemy. Since he has lots of them dual ones, you're probably going to be able to pay for it. 3 copies of Cuts Both Ways. Hero Interrupt Defense. When enemy attacks you, gain Retaliate 1 until the end of the phase. And then the last protection card we get is Preservation. The new resource. Max 1 per deck, so you only get 1 copy. After you spend this card, heal 1 damage from your hero. Yeah, So just play this, you're getting extra wild resource, but it's just to heal you. It's never a bad thing. Essentially a free heal. So that's pretty cool. Alright, for our basic cards, we have Iron Lad, Nathaniel Richards. One thwart, one attack, but he has Interrupt. When Iron Man uses a basic power, exhaust another Avenger ally you control, add that ally's matching power to Iron Man's power for this use. So very cool. So you can up his thwart and attack based on whoever else is around him. One of the things where it's not useful outside of an Avengers deck, but definitely powerful in there. And then we have 3 copies of Assess the Situation. 0 cost tactics. Action, you get +1 hand size till the end of the phase. Well, if I run, that's not cool. And if I stay, I get tasered. That's not cool either. I'm in a bit of a pickle. Yeah, 1 hand size for the end of the phase might not sound like too much, but if you have a bunch of stuff that lets you find extra cards or draw extra cards, it gets you, could be that 1 extra resource you can hang on to just pay for another card. Or if you can spend a bunch, it's going to let you spend a bunch more cards, so very cool. And then finally for him, we have his Obligation, which is Complicated Lineage. There's his parents. You may flip your alter ego, choose exhaust him to remove it from the game, or discard each shapeshift upgrade you control to discard this card. It's not too bad. Either exhaust him and lose most of your turn, be able to do stuff with him, to remove him from the game, not have to deal with it, or just discard all your shape-shifting, which means you can still do other stuff. You just basically going to reduce all your stat levels back down to 0, or back down to 1, I should say. Alright, then our nemesis is the Super Skrull, which is very interesting because Super Skrull first comes to Earth in search of him. He's trying to actually do fight, because of course like, Super Skrull is a bad guy. But then they learn he's there to actually protect him, and he kind of becomes his bodyguard from then on. So almost could have been neat. Alternatively, if we had like an extra card in the deck that was like a basic Super Skrull card, you could have like added in. Force Interrupt, when Super Skrull attacks you, discard the top card of your deck that has a printed resource. Energy, just +2 attack. Genius, discard 1 card from your hand. Physical, give Super Skrull a tough status card while discarding an upgrade you control. Scroll business. Super Skrull Synthizoid Hulkling after his heritage was revealed. Force response. After any number of cards you discard from the top of a player's deck, place this card face down under this scheme. So you'll lose them until you defeat it. The Fantastic Powers. Each attached minion gets +3 hit points, plus gains Retaliate 1. When revealed, bind Super Skrull, place him into play, engage with you, and attach Fantastic Powers to him. If you are in superior form, Super Skrull attacks you. And then we have 2 copies of You're Coming With Me. Revealed, Ultra Ego, discard top 3 cards of your deck, place 1 threat of the main scheme on the main scheme for each different resource icon discarded, which is going to really hurt him, hurt Hulkling, because he has so many different colors. And revealed hero, discard the top 3 cards of your deck, take 1 damage for each different resource icon, discarded cards. Alright, so that was our Hulkling. So yeah, very cool. So let's go ahead and hop into our second character. Alright, so then we have Tigra. I believe per story-wise, Hulkling is with Captain America. I think they're Resistance. Most of the Young Avengers were. Then Stature went to Iron Man's side because of her dad. Scott Lang, Ant-Man. But I think Tigra was with Iron Man to begin with. She has 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. So, interesting though, we had the other character's Protection, who had low defense. This character has high defense, but I don't think she's going to be a Protection character. Each minion with a copy of Hunted attacks loses guard. On the Hunt responds after a player phase begins, draw one card for each minion engaged with you to a maximum of 3. So she wants to have minions on her. So if we flip her over, whoops. Also kind of a shapeshifter, she can turn into her cat form. She's Greer Nelson. 3 recovery. She's a police, which is interesting. Undercover work. Action. Search your deck. Discard pile for a copy of Hunted. Add it to your hand. Limit once per round. You don't have to be an Avenger to protect others. Alright, what do we have for our allies? Let me see if I can find Hunted quick. Sorry, Moon Knight, we're going to hold off on you for a sec. We have 3 copies of Hunted, since our other card referred to this multiple times. So 0 cost of those star bites. I don't think we've ever seen before. As an additional cost to play this upgrade, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and put it into play engaged with you. Attach Hunted to that minion and stun it. Interrupt when an attached minion is defeated, ready Tigra. So basically this is her idea. She just to pull minions out of the deck and take them out. This is kind of a really cool idea because you might be like, hey, I know that this threat is coming up, or this guy might be coming up. I can deal with this guy right now. Or just getting minions out of the way when you need to get rid of them. Plus, with her other ability, for everyone she has engaged, she can draw extra cards, which lets her take out guys much quicker. And we get 3 copies of these, so very cool. Alright, then let's take a look at our rest of our cards. We just want to hop to see what that'll get, since it was such a good thing. And they lose guard, so like, if they're engaged with her, usually guard means you have to defeat that guy before you can attack the main villain. Basically, she can throw Hunted on a guy, and now they're just focused on her, and then other players can still attack. So it's pretty cool. We have Moon Knight, Mark Spector. Force response after Moon Knight enters play. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion. Put it into play, engage with you, and stun and confuse that minion. So not only do these guys come in with status effects, so you can take them out quicker. You're also, again, you're pulling guys out of the deck, so that way, like, hey, I can deal with them right now, and I know I can deal with them. So very interesting. Then we have Precinct HQ, location, alter ego, exhaust, remove 1 threat from each team, remove an additional threat for each minion engaged with you. So if you have more guys engaged with you, you can remove a bunch. Save your threats, mister. My friends are a lot scarier than yours. She's got some items. Some upgraded artifacts. Cat's Head Amulet. Exhaust Cat's Head Amulet. Regenerate 1 physical resource for each minion engaged with you to a maximum of 3. Also, a change between her feline and human forms. So this is, again, a really neat thing. You're going to pull guys on her. You have this. You can potentially generate up to 3. So you can play more attack cards and you're just trying to defeat them as quickly as possible. And to help with that, we have 2 copies of Sharp Claws, which are her weapons. Interrupt when you make a basic attack, exhaust Sharp Claws. Tiger gets +1 attack for this attack. Now, she normally has 2, so that gives her up to 3 attack. And then choose 1. This attack gains Overkill or gains Piercing. So if they have tough stats, you can break through that. Or Overkill means once you defeat a minion, the rest of the damage goes through to the villain. So if they're... this could be very well to, like, pick out really weak minions and then keep overkilling them, or pick out one specifically, hunt down one with the tough status effect, and then just let her pierce right through that and not have to worry about that. So it's a neat way to like get rid of specific guys. Or she can use the thing, she can ignore guard, so I'll put Hunted on them and then you can ignore the guard. So it's a great way for her to not just pull minions out of the deck to deal with them when you can deal with them, is also get rid of the ones that have special conditions that maybe the other heroes are going to have trouble with. So it's a really fun concept. 2 copies of Cat-like Reflexes. Interrupt when you would take any amount of damage, discard Cat-like Reflexes, prevent 3 of the damage, and make confuse a minion engaged with you. 3 copies of Tooth and Claw. Reduce the cost to play this event by 1 for each minion engaged with you. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. So again, getting a bunch of guys on there. So if you have 2 guys on you, right? Now this only costs 2. So you play 2, you drop it, you deal 4 damage to each of them. You might potentially defeat most minions. Minions don't usually have a lot. And then we have 2 copies of Feline Senses. Thwart remove 3 threat from a scheme. If there's removed last scheme, stun a minion. Just instant, but this cat is got to hunt. Very, very interesting deck. Then we're gonna get her aggression. So of course she's gonna have aggression with some interesting sidekicks, our allies. 2 Gun Kid, Matthew Hawk. Now I think this is I don't follow the Avengers as close as I follow stuff like X-Men. But I believe there was just a time when they had some like a massive Avengers team. So we're gonna get some more of the oddball Avengers instead of the core Avengers. But that's definitely cool. I always like having more characters. Interrupt when 2 Gun Kid makes a basic attack. Choose 2 enemies instead of 1 and resolve this attack against each of them. Works great with Tigra. Pulling guys out, and now you can shoot 2 of them instead. Not a bad idea. And then we have Spider-Girl, Anya Corazon. Also an Avenger. After you play Spider-Girl from your hand, stun and confuse a minion. What a bunch of losers. Who wants a piece of me? So stunning and confusing makes them so they can't attack and they can't steam. So this could also help, just like, hey, you need to turn to, like, flip Tigra back over to have her recuperate for a minute and then not have them guys attacking you. Stunning and confusing give you that 1 extra turn for that. So definitely nice. 3 copies of Air Cover. Uses 2 fuel counters, max 1 per player. Response. After a minion enters exhaust this card, move a field counter from it. Search your deck and discard pile for a tactics upgrade to be attached to that minion and add it to your hand. Very nice. So do we have any tactics cards in her deck? No, her personal deck does not have tactics. Her hunteds are conditions. So this doesn't, so far, this doesn't really help with her deck, but it might help with other things as well. So we'll have to see what else we come across in here to help out with that. We have 3 copies of Aggressive Conditioning. So here's our other conditioning card. So the next 2 heroes should have the other 2 conditioning, because usually they have a hero for each aspect. Play under any player's control, you get +3 hit points, and your hero gets +1 attack. The other one gave defense. This is going to boost up your attack, which is very nice. And plus, the more attacks she has, the better. 3 copies of Suppressing Fire. So here's our tactics. Attached to a minion, max 1 per minion. When you attack this minion, defeat attacks minion, heal 2 damage from your hero. So very cool. Like throwing this on your villains, you're gonna be able to defeat the heal back up, so you don't have to spend time switching back and forth. We have 3 copies of Bring It. Max 1 per phase. Hero action, draw a card for each minion you engage with you. You picked the wrong day, pal. We have 3 copies of Coup de Grace. Hero action, defeat a non-elite minion with an upgrade attack. Ignore when defeated abilities of that minion. So this is really cool. So if it's a non-elite one, it's just a straight up defeat, whether you attach one of them tactics cards we saw earlier, or you attach your hunting conditioning cards. We have 3 copies of Savage Strike. Still, when you make a basic attack, you get +6 attack, and this attack gains piercing. Finish off most guys. And then the last one is we have a new resource, which is Audacity. After you spend this card, deal 1 damage to the villain. And this is also a really cool thing. Just an extra wild that lets you do something special for it. Very cool. So yeah, I like her deck so far. It's a really neat idea. The aggression has a little all over the place. But again, it's kind of neat. So you'd be like, oh, that tactics thing, I kind of like that. Or attaching things to guys. You could then go find more cards that work with that. I also think that deck and some of that would work really well with Thor, because he has kind of a similar idea of having as many minions engaged with him as possible. We got some basic cards. We have Yellow Jacket, Hank Pym. I want to say I think these 2 were dating at some point, but I could be wrong on that. Point up, you have the Avengers trait. Response after Yellow Jacket enters play, search top 5 cards for an upgrade, add it to your hand. So adding more upgrades is not a bad idea. And then we just get our basic resources. We have energy, but we get new pictures for them, which are really cool. There's Iron Man putting on some armor and genius, and there's Hercules for strength. Alright, then finally at the end, we're going to have our obligation in Too Deep. Flip your alter ego, exhaust Nelson to remove this from the game, so very standard. Or each minion engaged with you activates against you. If no minions activate this way, it surges and then discard this card. So that one's you almost going to want to do the exhaust. Otherwise, depending on how many guys you have attacking you, that could be very bad. Alright, who is our nemesis? We have the Hood. We've fought the Hood before as a full villain. Now we get him as a minion. Steady and villainous. After the Hood attacks, you place up to one threat on Crime Underworld Steam. Crime Underworld says the Hood has gathered the disparate elements of the criminal underworld together in a unified game. Each criminal minion cannot take damage. And then, yeah, with his thing is after he attacks, he just to keep placing more and more things on them, make that harder and harder to beat. So the more damage he does, basically his threat goes up. Everyone's harder to, you can't defeat the minions. So that's actually a pretty cool effect. And I love the fact with criminals, there's so many other criminal encounters you could play and add this to. So he has the Hood's mantle, which is his armor. Attack to the Hood, otherwise attack to the villain. After you make a basic attack against enemies, spend energy and physical resource to discard this card. Boost attach to the Hood, otherwise attach to the villain. You get some minions to go with them. Instead of treacheries, we have Madame Mastique. When revealed, place 2 threats on the criminal underworld side steam. Otherwise, find it and reveal it. Boost, place 2 on there, otherwise find it. And we also get Jigsaw. Which, now we got Jigsaw, it makes me hope that maybe we're going to get Punisher soon. Maybe after the Civil War. Might even get him during the Civil War set. He was actually part of the Civil War. I know the other character announced so far has been Wonder Man. So maybe we might get Punisher in there and be kind of cool. After Jigsaw attacks and damages a character, place 2 threats on the side steam. Bad kitty. It's very cool. So that is what we have for Marvel Champions Civil War. We have 2 brand new heroes, which, of course, like any other big deck, can be added to any other different stuff. You can add other encounters, create your own, or add any other aspects, create your new aspect decks. Even if you just flop these, right, and turn Hulkling into a more of an aggressive character, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, he doesn't really have stuff to attack stuff, but if you have more things where he can engage guys, he still has defense to kind of deal with that. And then giving Tigra, she already has 3 defense, and all of a sudden you give her that card that does, like, oh, she has more defense, she blocks more, right? She could be respawning a lot more, and she could be blocking pretty much every attack. So very cool. Come back for part 3 when we look over all of the, at least part 3. I think we're actually going to probably do this in 2 more parts. We'll probably do a registration and a other part just because they might get too long. We'll see. See you guys later. Bye.